recommendation for what? Does it have to be a specific IRA that he's putting it into?
So it's a self-directed IRA. You have to have a management company that does it. Okay. I've been through two of them. The one that I like the best right now is Equity Trust. Equity Trust is out of Dallas or out of Texas. Yep. And they're awesome. I've got my self-directed IRA there. When I help Christian, were you here?
Yeah.
Okay, so you were here with Christian. So I'm one of his private money investors. Okay, when I need the money, you do a form, you send over the paperwork, and within about 48 hours, he had it sitting in his account. It was simple.
Wow.
And I can't collect any of that money. I can't touch that money, so it has to be done through a servicing company. So Christian pays the servicing company. That servicing company pays the underlying mortgage. I'm in a second position, and then it pays straight into my IRA. So I never see it. It just goes in there, and I just go online, and yep, payment was made.
Okay.
So, and because of that, when you do that, you can get a lot better return because now you are self-directing where you want your money to go. And playing the stock market, that's up and down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you got a guaranteed 8% interest or whatever it is, that's going in every single month. Well, how many stocks are getting you an 8% return consistently year after year, month after month, day after day? Not. Unless you're high risk, and then you don't. Still going to be volatile.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're guaranteed the real estate. Okay. And the way we position, even if you're in a second position, you're in a great freaking position because do you understand what a first and second position is? Throwing a lot of shit at you here.
Yeah.
Okay, so in a loan scenario, a first position means that there's only one loan on the property. Okay, if you have two loans, then you're going to have a first position and a second position. If you go to foreclosure, typically your first position will be paid off first. If there's any money left, then your second position will be paid off. Okay, so it's a little bit more risky, but not the way we set it up. The way we set it up is my private money investors, a lot of them are in the second position. And the reason why is, let's say we find a house and it's in foreclosure, and there's some arrears. They haven't made their payments, so maybe they're $5,000 in arrears or $10,000 in arrears. Maybe they need $5,000 to move on, and there's going to be some closing costs. So maybe I need $20,000 to close a deal. So I'll go to my private money investor, tell them I need $20,000. Maybe there might be a $100,000 loan over here. Okay, that's perfectly fine. So they know they're in second position. But with the promissory note that I give them and the deed of trust, in the promissory note, it says something about that if I default within 45 days, they can call that note. The first thing I'm going to do from a moral and ethical standpoint is I'm going to say, here's the deed. Now I'll show you how to make this right. Okay. Now you just got all your money back because now you just took over property that they probably bought, and I'm probably into it as 75%, 70% loan to value, maybe 80% loan to value with both notes. Okay, you understand what that means? Okay. So now he's got 20% worth of equity or 30% worth of equity. Okay. He can either keep the property, and if I haven't made the first payment to the first mortgage company, he's going to have to make up those two payments or whatever. But there's only two payments or a payment and a half only. Okay, so I'm not very far behind. So it might be $1,000 or $2,000 he's going to have to pay. Okay, so now he brings that up, and if it already has a tenant, he's good to go. If it doesn't, go rent it, go do a lease option, whatever. I'll teach him how to do that, and I've told all my private money people this. I'll teach you how to do it. If you don't want to do that, I will help you sell it. I'll put you in touch with a realtor over there, wherever we are, because we're in certain areas, we have connections. I'll put you in touch with them if that were to ever happen. Hopefully, it never will.
Yeah.
Hasn't in 31 years, and I'm very conservative, and it shouldn't. And the other thing is being a private money investor here, because I have the big portfolio in 15 states. If 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 go vacant, it doesn't hurt me, because all this other money is still coming in. They're still going to get their payment. Different than if you have a private money investor and you're dealing with Jane Doe that doesn't own any rentals or have a portfolio. Now they're relying on the rents to pay you, and if that's what they're relying on, it goes empty. Now what? Where's their income coming from to pay you? Okay, so there's not a big worry with the big portfolio I own. So, does it take time? Yes. It's not get rich quick. It's get wealthy slow. Okay? And just, I mean, you can take Christian, for example. Did you tell him about Christian?
No, I
Did
didn't.
I just tell you about Christian?
No, you
I've
didn't.
t-
You mentioned him.
Okay. Sorry, I've been on sales calls all morning, so I don't know what I've said or haven't said. If I repeat myself, stop me. So, Christian was an acquisition manager here. I made him a manager, so he ran our acquisitions crew. He was with us, a year and 2 months, something like that. About 2 or 3 months into it, his whole idea is he wanted to buy properties, and a property came available. I didn't want it. I said, take it, run with it, and he did. And I don't know, when he left here, he was at 8 properties, 10 properties, 8 properties?
8 properties.
Okay, 8 properties. Now he's what,
13?
13 properties now?
13 properties, yeah.
Okay. He left January, February this year with 8 properties. He's going to go back into full-time construction because he's making 6 figures doing that. Once he figured out of everything I taught him here, he started doing this on the side, and now he's bought another 5 properties or whatever it is. Last time I heard it was 12, so maybe he's bought another one now. And that's awesome because now I know when he left here, he was approaching $7,000 to $8,000 positive cash flow a month. I don't know what he's at now, and he's going, why the fuck am I going to go back to work? It's like, yeah, that's what I was trying to teach you. Okay, so that's what it's all about. He doesn't need to go to work. He's got the money coming in, and I know he stayed in real estate. He's one of the only people that ever worked for me that has stayed in the game and been successful at it. No other person really has, because it's so much.
He's done it the fastest too?
He's done it the fastest, yeah, but he was a sponge.
Yeah.
He would come to my office for an hour every day and just bombard me with questions. I knew what he was doing, but I love it, so yeah, let's go. And he'd always come up with new ideas, and why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? How do you do that? And I taught him everything that I know. He's no different than Jason in here. Jason was a sponge. He came to me at 19 years old. Now he's running my fucking company for me, okay? Because he's a sponge. But Christian took it and ran with it and started buying properties and got to the point that he doesn't have to work now. And now he just adds 1 or 2 here and there and keeps adding and so forth.